Tonight, a new president and a new era. Joe Biden wastes no time after being sworn in, signing a stack of executive orders undoing Donald Trump's key policies, but not before pledging to heal America's divisions.
This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward. And we must meet this moment as the United States of America.
Kamala Harris makes history as the first woman to be sworn in as vice president. An armed carjacker shot dead by police after a wild chase through Gippsland. And a paraglider escaped serious injury after crashing in front of cheering onlookers along the Great Ocean Road.
This is 10 News First Melbourne with Candice Wyatt.
Good evening. First tonight, restoring the soul of America. That's what Joe Biden has pledged as the new president of the United States. 14 days ago, the steps where he took his oath were the scene of violence and chaos as an armed mob stormed the seat of American democracy. But today it saw a call to arms to restore that democracy, along with unity and hope for a fractured nation. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson joins us live now. And Eamon, Joe Biden thinks he can end what he calls America's uncivil war.
Yes, Candice, he sure has his work cut out for him. But what a start to the year we've seen already. We've had just 3 Wednesdays so far in 2021. We've had an insurrection, an impeachment, and now an inauguration. And as Joe Biden said, there is plenty to heal, but also plenty to gain. And really, it remains to be seen whether President Trump's supporters will accept his offer to walk beside him, whether they'll listen when he says, you know, that not every argument has to end in an all-out war. So now history has been made, the work begins. Crippled by a pandemic, wounded by an insurrection, and undermined by a president who didn't want to leave, American democracy marched on. Joseph R. Biden, in front of his wife Jill, holding the family Bible, was sworn in as the 46th President of the United States of America.
Will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Crowds were replaced by flags. The giant fence around the Capitol was a symbol of the former president's divisive legacy, which the new president, Joe Biden, wasted no time tearing down.
We've learned again that democracy is precious. Democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed.
It was a speech with a singular purpose: to unify a divided nation.
We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, conservative versus liberal.
And for the 400,000 Americans who've died from coronavirus,
Let's say a silent prayer for those who've lost their lives and those left behind, and for our country. Amen.
almost every living president was there. Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, and George W. Bush. Jimmy Carter couldn't make it, and Donald Trump simply wouldn't. A hero policeman who lured rioters away that day, escorting the incoming VP. Kamala Harris walking into the history books as the first woman, African American and Asian American, sworn in as the Vice President.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Lady Gaga belting out the national anthem. And J-Lo stunning the Capitol too. And while Bernie Sanders' mittens almost stole the show, then came along 22-year-old Amanda Gorman.
We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is.
The young poet was struggling to work out what to say. Then the capital siege happened, and she wrote this in one night.
We close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside.
As this was happening, an unknown soldier was kneeling at the grave of Joe Biden's late son, Beau, a veteran, who was probably on his father's mind when he was inspecting the troops and laying a wreath. Then it was time to head to their new home in the Beast, stepping out on Pennsylvania Avenue to a place they've been many times before. The Bidens are back, this time as America's first family. As the sun set on 4 years of deep divisions, America now has a new president who seeks to unite, heal, tell the truth and inspire. And President Joe Biden wasted no time getting straight down to work. Wearing a mask in the Oval Office, President Biden signed 17 executive orders asking Americans to wear a mask for 100 days, requiring masks in federal buildings, rejoining the Paris Climate Accord and stopping construction of the Mexico Wall. He swore in staff virtually,
So help me God.
and left no question about how they must behave.
If you're ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot.
Over on the Hill, Vice President Harris took control of the new Democratic Senate and began confirming Biden's cabinet, while over the other side, Tom Hanks and Bruce Springsteen led a star-studded celebration.
In a land of hope and dreams.
An historic day ending with a spectacular fireworks show, light drowning out darkness, and as Biden's favourite poem goes, hope and history rhyming once again. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, Washington.
Leaders from around the world have sent their congratulations to Joe Biden as they look to cement strong relationships with the new administration. PM Scott Morrison was among them, declaring the Australia-US alliance has never been stronger.
Scott Morrison is already busy laying the groundwork for a close relationship with President Joe Biden.
You guys ready?
Sending his best to the newly sworn-in leader of the free world.
I just wanted to start off by congratulating President Biden and Vice President Harris on their inauguration. And
drawing on the long alliance between our two countries.
Australia and the United States are the best of mates and the best of allies.
The key to staying best mates will be Australia's commitment to lowering greenhouse emissions, and the Prime Minister is already clued in.
There's a lot of work for us together, whether it's on climate, on energy, on international security and importantly regional security here in the Indo-Pacific.
Joe Biden is serious about climate change, unlike his predecessor.
We're going to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord as of today.
That's something that has changed the dynamic of the Australia-US relationship, where previously climate change was just simply not part of the equation. It wasn't something that President Trump was taking seriously.
I hope Scott Morrison ends his isolation and steps up to confront the challenge of climate change and joins President Biden.
World leaders were quick to align themselves with the new leader.
When you look at the issues that unite me and Joe Biden, the UK and the United States right now, there's a fantastic joint common agenda.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau sent his congratulations. French President Emmanuel Macron writing "We are together" in his message on Twitter. And Japanese Prime Minister Suga tweeted about the shared values of the two nations.
The world's problems are more numerous and more intractable, and the institutions that traditionally are used to work through them have been diminished.
Scott Morrison is hoping to meet President Biden for the first time at the G7 Leaders Summit in the United Kingdom, which is scheduled for June. Stella Todorovic for 10 News First.
Police have shot dead a knife-wielding man after a long chase through Gippsland, sparked by a carjacking more than an hour earlier. Witnesses described how close they came to danger, with several near misses before the incident came to a dramatic end along the Princes Freeway in Druin.
A stolen silver Audi smashed into a guardrail. It could have ended there, but the driver had other ideas.
He was running around with seemed like a blade of some sort. He was running around. He ran at my car, then ran towards the police.
What followed was a tense confrontation and a split-second decision.
Police confronted the male who exited the car with the edged weapon, refused demands to put the weapon down, advanced on police.
Witnesses describe hearing two shots before the man in his 30s fell to the ground. Ambulance officers worked with police to keep him alive, but he couldn't be saved.
They just gave him every opportunity. He just didn't listen.
The drama began more than an hour earlier. Lockie Faust saw the stolen car race through a closed road at Terrelgan at 8:15 a.m.
Where it was started to be closed off, he was probably doing 80 k's. By the end of it, he was probably doing 120.
It came from on the opposite side of the roundabout, so headed into me as I was heading into it the right way.
Police were first called here to Melbourne North, around 60 kilometres southeast of the crash scene. A man was threatened at knife point, his Audi carjacked.
To be confronted by an offender armed with a knife and have your car taken is really terrifying.
Police say the offender was known to them. The coroner is now investigating. Simon Love for 10 News First.
A dramatic rescue operation has unfolded on the side of a cliff above the Great Ocean Road in front of stunned holidaymakers. A paraglider's wing clipped a branch while he was performing stunts, sending him crashing to the ground.
Dangling above the treetops, paramedics chop it in to rescue the stranded glider. He was tangled in thick scrub above the Great Ocean Road. The 58-year-old lost control and crashed 30 metres from the top of a cliff late yesterday.
4 firefighters went down, met AV down at the patient and then hauled him out.
The experienced pilot, known as AB, was flying with a Surf Coast paragliding club called the Dinosaurs. He was performing low-level manoeuvres in front of holidaymakers when his wing clipped a branch.
You know, they were kind of showing off to us because we were cheering them on.
Oh, he just came really close and his side of the wing just hit one of the bushes.
The teenagers raised the alarm and within 20 minutes, emergency crews arrived. From above, the man's club mates watched on in horror.
Well, they were just circling sort of above, making sure they're okay. He was, one of the paragliders was the one making sure we were getting him to talk.
The group launched from here at Spion Cop, Victoria's most popular coastal site for hang gliders and paragliders. Looking at the view and the height, it's easy to see why. He was taken to Geelong University Hospital and later discharged with knee, ankle and neck pain and possibly a bruised ego.
He seemed like he was in good spirit when he was brought up to the top.
Jade Kotick for 10 News First.
Novak Djokovic has had a candid chat to the media from quarantine as the tennis player's controversial time in isolation hits the halfway point. He's hit back at criticism over his open letter of so-called demands to Tennis Australia.
A thumbs up to quarantine conditions from the world number one. Novak Djokovic stepping out of his Adelaide hotel room for some balcony banter with media and fans. It was these privileges in Adelaide that prompted the 8-time Australian Open champion to make suggestions to Tennis Australia on improving quarantine conditions in Melbourne. But following a volley of criticism, the Serbs hitting back, saying, "My good intentions for my fellow competitors have been misconstrued as being selfish, difficult and ungrateful. This couldn't be farther from the truth." Fans today unfazed by the off-court drama.
It's pretty exciting, yeah. Because I've never seen that many tennis players up close.
And being from Melbourne, and last year we went to the Kids' Day Out and got to see all the players, and
things like that, and we don't have that opportunity this year.
Freedom for Djokovic and the 72 players still confined to their Melbourne hotel rooms another week away.
The first thing we're going to do on Friday morning, we're just going to run straight to this park and spend an hour there.
Hannah Ford for 10 News First.
Now here's Stephen previewing sport, and the Bombers skipper has spoken of his struggles.
He has, Candice. Dyson Heppel has admitted to some dark days. He races the clock to be fit for the start of the season. The fight is on for number 5 spot in the Aussie Test team. We speak to 2 of the contenders. The big 3 hit the court for the Brooklyn Nets. And we're live to the tribunal for what could be a real test case in 2021 as a star pro fights a big suspension.
Thank you, Stephen. Coming up in 10 News First. Donald Trump leaves a generous letter for Joe Biden before leaving Washington bound for Florida. And the government assembles the workers needed to roll out our COVID vaccine.
What does it take to win the amazing race?
We're super competitive, so we won't give up.
I could write just about anything going on in the radio world today. Faster the better. Bring on.
The training to really well.
The amazing race Australia on 10. The race starts Monday at 1.
Changes. Switching their internet from another provider. Up and running smooth and again with a dedicated connection manager.
Join the quiz and keep up smoking with help from Nicorette Quick Mist from Chemist Warehouse. It starts to relieve cravings from 30 seconds, making you 2.5 times more likely to quit than willpower alone. And there's never been a better time to join the quitters. Right now at Chemist Warehouse, Nicorette Quick Mist triple packs in cool berry or fresh mint are just $49.99 each. Live, look, feel well at Chemist Warehouse.
Head to the Troppo Pool Shop. Complete pool services, pool equipment, cleaners, free water testing, all at their new Yarrawonga home. Open 7 days. It's time to cool off, so visit us now.
Harvey Norman Summer Sizzlers. Enjoy summer at home with the Sealy Advantage 7 Plus Queen Mattress. Great Australian value at just $499. Featuring coil support, the King Coil Conformer S Queen Mattress. Choice of 4 comfort feels, only $699 each. Sleepmaker's Dakota Deluxe Queen Mattress features Australian-made pocket coil technology. Choice of 3 feels, only $999 each. Plus, get 60 months in free with a bonus gift card. Now, at Harvey Norman.
Things fighting me. What's that?
It's the time of terror.
Oh my God!
7:30 tonight. Then Sunday finale week begins with an elimination every single night. Plus the most weird trial ever. The Viper Room.
Easy Music 3MP is back on 1377 AM, Stereo DAB+, iHeartRadio and Radio app. Relax with us. 3MP.
Good afternoon. Just hovering over Eastlink Race. Truck and car have actually collided. This is northbound or ringwood bound if you prefer. At High Street Road at the on-ramp, fireys are on scene and speeds are reduced. Lanes are quite bad from back before Fern Tree Gully Road. Slowly start to creep back to Wellington Road, actually. Unfortunately, not the major with a smash. The Savo Ring Road, Altona bound at the Tullamarine Freeway, a collision, as well as the Calder Freeway at Vineyard Road. I'm in 3MP traffic chopper, back shortly with more traffic.
Canberra is getting ready to roll out the COVID vaccine next month. A nationwide workforce is being assembled and trained to give Australians the jab.
Australia has its eye on the needle, likely to approve Pfizer by the end of next week.
Has been, I think, reassured by what they've heard from Norway and the European Medical Agency.
And the shot squad's being mobilised. Compulsory training will soon begin for those who'll administer the jab at hospitals, clinics, GPs and pharmacies.
There will be well over 500 additional workforce. If they require more than 1,000, then that will be required. So it's uncapped.
They'll be taught how to handle Pfizer, which must be stored at -70 degrees, and how to use multi-dose vials.
We have to be ready, but we are a wealthy, well-educated country with a strong health infrastructure, so we should be as ready as anywhere else in the world.
Well, the Prime Minister today focused his energy on a workforce offering an economic cure.
Gas is key to the COVID-19 recovery.
Monthly labour figures released today show unemployment has bettered just slightly, with an improvement in every state except South Australia. The national jobless rate's now 6.6%. Queensland has the highest unemployment, WA the lowest, but there are still more than 900,000 Australians out of work.
We advise the government to properly consider extending JobKeeper for those sectors of the economy that have still been very hard hit.
We had always said JobKeeper was a temporary policy.
A shot in the arm needed in more ways than one. Chloe Boris for 10 News First.
Protests, controversy and celebrations at a Melbourne hotel today, and it had nothing to do with quarantine. 46 refugees who have been held there for more than a year were finally released into the community.
These men make 2 weeks in quarantine seem like a breeze. They've been locked in their hotel for more than 12 months.
We love you and we will see you very soon.
Today, they walked free.
To see these guys walk out a door is just, a perfect moment.
There was goodwill from every direction. Social distancing was cast aside and the handshake was back. The men were detained on Manus Island for 7 years, and in 2019 they were sent to Melbourne for medical treatment.
These people came here because they were sick and they needed medical attention. And what did the Australian government do? They locked them up and they tortured them.
Every single person in here has had a clear criminal record. Many of them have had refugee status for so many years, and one day they just get to walk free. It should have been 8 years ago.
For 13 months, across 2 hotels, protesters have gathered daily.
And it was really just amazing to be there as they were coming out and to share in their excitement to finally be free.
Their belongings have been reduced to a plastic bag. Buses transported them to their halfway home, and they've been issued 6-month bridging visas.
You can't walk out the door from 7 years of incarceration and torture and find a job in 10 minutes.
The federal government has had very little to say about their release, but the reception from locals has been a positive one. Natasha Rexelby for 10 News First.
Ahead in 10 News First. Back to the US, how the divided nation watched history from outside the Capitol. And from the White House, back to Florida, an in-depth look at the legacy Donald Trump leaves behind.
Good evening. The heat is building across Victoria and a heat wave has been declared right across the state over the weekend. That's because we're expecting a combination of very hot days and warm nights. Temperatures will soar as high as 44 degrees, and in southern Victoria we'll see temperatures in the low 40s. Today wasn't quite as hot, but we still hit the 30s in Melbourne for only the 3rd time this year. And it was a nice sunny day to spend outside before it gets really hot over the weekend. This morning's low was 13 degrees. It warmed up to 31 by 3:30 and it's still hot out there, sitting at 30 degrees. Southerly winds did keep things a little cooler on the coast. Geelong reached 27 degrees, while in northern suburbs that hit the 30s. Across Victoria today was warm and sunny, very hot in Mildura, 37 degrees, 33 degrees in Hamilton, with temperatures a little cooler through Gippsland. I'll be back with more details on this hot weather and the heat wave to come shortly.
The Amazing Race Australia kicks off Monday, Feb 1.
I have a physical difference. I was born like this. I have had a lot of people say, you can't do this, you can't do that. No matter your difference, don't let it stop you. You are the only person that stands in your way.
The Amazing Race Australia starts Monday, Feb 1.
Charles Darwin University is one of Australia's top 2 universities for graduate employment and salary outcomes. Join their Territories University and let us help you build your new world.
At Harvey Norman, get a PC with Windows 10 for a more powerful you. This HP 14-inch laptop is great for back to school, only $698. Step up to this HP Pavilion laptop with the latest Intel Core i5 processor, only $1,188. Or get all the speed you need with this HP laptop powered by 11th-gen Intel Core i7 processor, just $1,498. Plus, get 60 months interest-free with bonus gift cards, now at Harvey Norman.
Ooh, been through a idea? Worth it. Check out this finance offer on CHR.
Make any excuse this play clearance. Get a 3.9% comparison rate across the CHR range. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Dynamic Catering Solutions, supporting the local community through challenging times with a wide range of hand sanitizers, disinfectant and surface protectors available. Dynamic Catering Solutions can help keep your home and business safe. Forcefield products are simple to use, non-toxic, non-flammable and environmentally friendly. With 45ml hand sanitizers, large spray station and surface cleaners now available in Darwin. Forcefield products can help with the fight against germs, bacteria and mould. Dynamic Catering Solutions. Call or go online for more details and place your order today.
Every woman needs comfort and support. Available at Sarah Lynn Lingerie and Fashion Boutique, Shop 3, Milner Plaza, 348 Bagot Road, Milner.
REINT, a cohesive representative voice for the real estate profession in the Northern Territory. Whether you're starting a career or wanting a career change, enrol at REINT and get the opportunity for success in the exciting world of real estate. Change your life today. Visit www.reint.com.au. At REINT, you'll be sold on a career in real estate.
Hi, I'm Darryl. Barnyard Trading is a family-owned business, and we've been supplying the Territory for over 30 years. Our business deals in irrigation, chemicals, fertiliser and gardening tools. We also have everything you need for fencing, including electric fencing. We support the communities by delivering to the barges free of charge. Find us at 904 Stewart Highway, Pinelands.
It's the final days of Beaumont's January price dump. Prices dumped on tiles, bathroom, kitchen, laundry, floors and walls, 20 to 50% off. Hurry in for the final days of Beaumont's massive price dump. Beaumont's.
Ooh, things are biting me. What's in there?
It's the Tunnel of Terror.
My God.
7:30 tonight.
Welcome back. Donald Trump didn't wait around to see the new president sworn in. In a breach from tradition, he abandoned the White House without the customary handshake and tour for the new arrival. Although he did leave a letter which Joe Biden has described as very generous.
The last vestiges of presidential pomp and a final defence of his legacy.
I can only say this, we have worked hard. We've left it all, as the athletes would say, we've left it all in the field. The things that we've done have been just incredible.
Donald Trump's early departure allowed him one last ride on Air Force One. He leaves, having never retracted his claim the election was stolen from him. The courts have rejected it. Not even the mobs were able to change the result. Trump's departure ends a whirlwind. By his own account, the 45th president never thought he'd win in 2016. But his visceral appeal to working-class white voters made him the most powerful man on earth.
This American carnage stops right here and stops right now.
Like no one before, he took on liberals, the bureaucracy, the media.
That is a lot of fake news back there.
He made a virtue of unpredictability, responding to North Korea's nuclear weapons build-up, first with threats of war.
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself.
But then he launched the strangest bromance in American diplomatic history.
And we would go back and forth, and then we fell in love, okay?
He was far less considerate towards American allies, openly disdaining leaders in Canada, Mexico and Europe, and abandoning America's Kurdish partners in the fight against ISIS to a Turkish invasion.
I am especially proud to be the first president in decades who has started no new wars.
Among promises he kept, he brought American troops home. He started work on his Mexican border war, took on China over trade. He abandoned action on climate change, declaring global warming a hoax propagated by China. And he cut taxes for the rich, while triggering a vast growth in national debt. But storm clouds were brewing. The death at a policeman's knee of black man George Floyd sparked protests that echoed around the world. And with COVID, he found an enemy that couldn't be bullied or distracted with lies.
We think it's going to have a very good ending for us.
As he left office, more than 400,000 Americans had died from COVID-19.
All you hear is COVID, 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 COVID.
The lowest point of his presidency came after his defeat, as he tried to bully officials to invent a different result. Finally, he urged a mob to take the fight to the Capitol building.
And we're going to have to fight much harder.
He leaves office the only president to be impeached twice. If the Senate confirms that impeachment, he will be banned from any future office. But he insists his movement is just getting started. Trump is gone, but he believes only for now. Hugh Remington for 10 News First.
It seemed as if all of America stayed indoors to watch the inauguration, with fears of mass protests and violence coming to nothing. There were still pockets of disruption and some die-hard support for the outgoing president. But in Trump's hometown, there was mostly joy he was leaving.
In New York City, even the most hardened Trump supporters were getting behind their new president.
I'm the next cowboy, you gotta do what you gotta do.
With a newly decorated Biden-Harris guitar, the naked cowboy was doing his best to adapt to the nation's changing tune.
I have all kinds of ideas about what should be done and not be done, but I support America. I support America, number one.
This Democrat heartland and home of ousted President Donald Trump, ready for change.
I'm very pleased, very, very happy. The tyrant has finally left the building at last.
He should never have been there in the first place. He was a horrible New Yorker as well.
Despite persistent warnings of mass gatherings and potential violence, protests were small and far between. In Sacramento, California, a group of Black Lives Matter protesters rallied outside the state capitol, while pro-Trump supporters across the country kept an unusually low profile.
But I see a sad day for America. It's not over. We'll be back.
I love Donald Trump. He's done great things. I'm a veteran for America. This is a joke, this Joe Biden.
We just don't feel like our votes were heard. So we just feel like right now, we know it's over probably, and it's going to be over. But so that these things don't occur ever again.
In Augusta, Georgia, a handful of people voiced their opposition to the swearing in of President Joe Biden.
This election was stolen. And I feel like there is a lot of things that went on that are just being brushed under the couch.
I'm also concerned that he's going to put us in turmoil as far as our currency is what it's going to be worth after him and the liberal Democrats get done spending trillions of dollars.
Despite all the talk about potential economic damage, US stocks actually closed at record highs today. Here on Wall Street, traders reacted with optimism to the new Joe Biden administration amid hopes of additional stimulus measures and increase support for business. But the path forward will take more than money. It will require some of Biden's most ardent opponents to put their beliefs aside in the name of unity. Catherine Firkin for 10 News First, New York.
A suspected gas leak is believed to have caused a deadly explosion in the heart of Madrid. At least 3 people have been killed and 8 injured in the blast. It tore off several walls of the building while cars and the street were covered in debris. There's a chance the building may collapse. Alibaba founder Jack Ma has made his first public appearance in 3 months. He's spoken to a group of rural teachers via video for his charity foundation. The recording was first posted on a new channel backed by a Chinese provincial government. There's been speculation over the billionaire's whereabouts after he blasted China's regulatory system in a speech in Shanghai in October. Britain keeps recording record daily numbers of COVID-19 deaths. 1,820 people died today, the second time the UK has broken its 24-hour record in the past 2 days. The British Prime Minister says it's appalling and has warned the death toll is likely to keep rising in the next few weeks because of the mutant strain of the virus. But it's so far vaccinated more people against COVID-19 than almost any other country. Up next, the staggering sum netted as the nation's first commercially grown medical cannabis flowers head overseas. And slip, slop, slack, the alarming figures proving Aussie men just aren't getting the SunSmart message.
Things are biting me. What's in there?
It's the Tunnel of Terror.
Oh my God!
7:30 tonight. Then Sunday finale week begins with an elimination every single night. Plus the most feared trial ever, the Viper Room.
Are sensitive teeth holding you back from enjoying your morning coffee? Try Sensodyne Daily Care Plus Whitening Toothpaste from Chemist Warehouse. Not only does it provide relief from sensitive teeth, it helps to gently remove stains to restore the natural whiteness of your teeth and provides all the benefits of a regular toothpaste. Exclusive to Chemist Warehouse, Sensodyne Daily Care Plus Whitening 160-gram toothpaste is just $2 for $18. Trust Sensodyne, the #1 brand for sensitive teeth. Live, look, feel well at Chemist Warehouse.
Support your bust, especially when exercising. Available at Sarah Lynn Lingerie and Fashion Boutique, Shop 3, Milner Plaza, 348 Bagot Road, Milner.
Darwin's best value sofa shop, Sofa Studio, has arrived at Winnelli. A grand opening celebration is taking place. Trusted brands like Lazy Boy, Coral Bay and HTL at unheard of price reductions. Grand opening sale on now at Sofa Studio Winnelli.
This is playing in any weather. And it's not just about games won, it's about being one of the world's healthiest sports. And can be played whether you're 5 or 105. Squash, it's more than just a sport.
Super sale this Saturday only at Super Cheap Auto. There's 30% off all disc brake pads, SCA reverse cameras and Gator dash cams, plus 30% off all engine oils, including motorcycle, and loads more.
It's good to know TIO Home Insurance has your home covered for cyclone, storm surge and flood. Plus, they're local and you can save up to 10% when you buy home insurance and combine your buildings and contents on one policy. Get a quote now.
Palm City Resort is a touch of paradise in the heart of Darwin City. Enjoy tropical accommodation in newly refurbished rooms, bungalows and villas, complete with a barbecue area and a refreshing pool to relax in. Palm City Resort, the Esplanade, Darwin.
500. That's the number of people who are seriously injured on Territory roads each year. 500 people who live with an injury the rest of their life.
Burns.
Spinal cord injury. Facial scars.
500 people who may need lifelong care.
Paralysis. Brain injury.
Loss of limbs. 500 people who won't be able to do many of the things we take for granted.
Eating.
Driving.
Walking.
laughing. So this holiday season, share roads responsibly, obey road rules, and respect other drivers. Drive so others survive.
Do you need support with your mental health or well-being? The challenges of everyday life can be overwhelming, and we all need help sometimes. Team Health are here to listen. Reach out. Call Team Talk on 1-800-TEAM-00.
No matter your difference, don't let it stop you. You are the only person that stands in your way. If you want to achieve something, you'll achieve it.
Easy Music 3MP is back on 1377 AM, Stereo DAB+, iHeartRadio and radio app. Relax with us. 3MP.
Good afternoon again. Just above Eastlink, having a look at delays following an earlier smash involving a truck and a car just near High Street Road. The delays we're seeing right now are northbound. It's still banked up from Ferntree Gully Road all the way through to the scene. Frankston bound looking like a nice clear trip though. And we caught a glimpse of the Monash Freeway earlier. Just the usual outbound delays that you'd expect to see for a regular peak hour. Nearing Warrigal Road slowing down, and then also heavy hold-ups a little further along through Narre Warren and Berwick. I'm Jess Miller in the 3MP Traffic Chopper. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good evening, Charlotte Goodlett with a look at finance. Jobless numbers were released today and they were a little better than expected. In December, the official unemployment rate fell from 6.8 to 6.6%, the economy gaining 50,000 new jobs with part-time employment leading the gains. Of course, the big story was, of course, the inauguration of Joe Biden. It had quite an effect on the markets both here and overseas. In the US, Wall Street hit record highs because the market hopes that his stimulus package of $1.9 trillion will help carry the economy. Now, it's interesting to note Donald Trump often liked to point out the positive effect he had on the market, but it does seem he's been pipped by the new president. Back home, the ASX jumped out of the gate, breaking through 6,800 points for the first time since February last year. Tech stocks were the best performers, while Cleanaway plunged after its CEO departed. As for the dollar, it has strengthened against most of the majors this evening.
This is Melbourne's 10 News First. Tonight's headlines. Joe Biden gets straight to work after being sworn in as US president, signing a swag of executive orders overturning key Trump policies within hours of his inauguration. Police shoot a knife-wielding carjacker dead after a dramatic chase through Gippsland. And a paraglider escaped serious injury after hitting the ground while showboating over the Great Ocean Road. An Australian medicinal cannabis producer has broken into the European market with a lucrative $92 million 10-year deal. The first batch of the locally grown cannabis flower has been sent to Germany, the product's third largest market in the world.
Really exciting. I mean, research costs money. And I think one of the things we're able to do now with this kind of long-term deal and long-term sort of surety around income is we can invest more into patient health.
The company will also release the state's first locally cultivated and commercial medicinal cannabis extract within weeks. An alarming number of men are not listening to the SunSafe message and are complacent when it comes to protecting their skin. And you'd be surprised where most of them get burnt.
He thought he was young and indestructible. He wasn't.
I worked out in the sun most of my life and I just didn't have any idea what I was in store for.
The freckle on Warren Penner's arm turned out to be melanoma. To his horror, the cancer spread. The horticulturalist's body ended up riddled with it.
Once you hear that word cancer or melanoma, your brain freezes.
There's an alarming number of men like Warren, complacent when it comes to sun safety. A Cancer Council study has found that while most men know sun protection can save your life, less than half of those surveyed slipped, slopped, slapped as part of their daily routine, and a mere 30% use sunscreen.
You put sunscreen on every day as part of your routine, or?
Only when it's high UV day, otherwise I try and get at least a bit of vitamin D and want to look at least a bit tan, better than what I am.
I do now, I never used to. Like, obviously about 20 years ago I wasn't covering up.
We remember it maybe at the beach, maybe at the pool, but actually we know that people tend to be sunburnt these days more likely around the home.
A new campaign by the Cancer Council is now specifically targeting men.
I think we have a bit of complacency around melanoma, that it's easy to treat, and actually In many cases, it's not. It's a lot of gruelling treatment.
14,500 people were diagnosed with melanoma in 2019 and 1,400 people died.
So it's no surprise that twice as many men died from the disease than women.
You know your body's the best. If you see something changing on your body, make sure that you go and get it checked out.
Amanda Hart for 10 News First.
And now Stephen's back with Thursday's sport, and we hear from an Aussie Test hopeful.
We do, Candice. Ben McDermott is hoping to turn his white ball form into a red ball dream. Could he be the new Aussie number 5? Also, Dyson Heppel talks about his dark days battling injury, the Joker's apology, and Man U back on top on a controversial day in the Premier League.
Superstar Naomi Watts on the little magpie that changed lives. Next.
When it comes to dummy spits and hissy fits, only one person can stop them.
Challenge accepted.
Meet Laura Amies, the toddler tamer.
She doesn't respect you.
No.
We can fix this. Do you hear that? Silence.
Toddlers behaving very badly. Starts Saturday on 10.
We've always done it tough in the Territory because tough always has to be done, and where the needs of many sometimes require the actions of one. As we head into the storm season, Power and Water is committed to doing what needs to be done, building and maintaining the engine room of the Territory, investing in our communities, and always focused on one thing: protecting what's truly precious. To protect your loved ones this storm season, visit powerwater.com.au/prepare.
Darwin's best value sofa shop, Sofa Studio, has arrived at Winnelli. A grand opening celebration is taking place. Trusted brands like Lazy Boy, Coral Bay and HTL at unheard of price reductions. Grand opening sale on now at Sofa Studio Winnelli.
Unlike other modems, Telstra's smart modem is cleverly backed up by Australia's best 4G network. So if the connection to your house stops, your home Wi-Fi won't. Switch today to experience Australia's most reliable home Wi-Fi with the Telstra Smart Modem.
Harvey Norman Summer Sizzlers. Enjoy summer at home with the Archie Fabric Modular Lounge Suite, featuring power recliners, storage console and lights for just $2,699. Or the super comfy Gaucho 3-seater fabric sofa with twin power reclining actions and USB ports, only $1,499. Get a sleek new look with the Gwyn 7-piece dining suite. Huge value at just $1,199. Plus, get 60 months interest-free with a bonus gift card. Now at Harvey Norman.
Go!
Authorised by the Northern Territory Government, Darwin.
Thanks to Harvey Norman, 10 Darwin's community space. Elemental Gymnastics welcomes new gymnasts with spaces available in both recreational and competitive classes. Don't miss sign-on day. Ever wondered if calisthenics is for you? Then why not come and try? Sign-on day is 30th of January for tinies, sub-juniors and juniors aged 3 to 13. Everyone, including prams and dogs on leads, are welcome at the Rural Australia Day Fun Run at Fred's Pass Reserve. Registration starts at 7 a.m. Just follow the green and yellow balloons. Darwin Obedience Dog Club is open for registration for your puppy. Come along on the night or register and pay online. All details on Facebook. 10 Darwin's community space. Thanks to Harvey Norman.
Things are biting me. What's in there?
It's the Tunnel of Terror.
My God!
7:30 tonight.
Good evening. While the disappointment from the series loss to India is still raw, attention is already turning to Australia's next red ball challenge against South Africa in February. One of the biggest points of contention is who should bat at number 5. Matthew Wade is the incumbent, but both Travis Head and Ben McDermott want to pile on the pressure with a big finish to the Big Bash.
Travis Head paid the ultimate price for not shoring up his spot in the side.
You have to be making runs to be in the Australian cricket team. You have to always be putting performances on the board. You have to be winning games of cricket for Australia. I had opportunities to do that in the first 2 tests. Wasn't able to take them, and players jump you.
In his absence, Matthew Wade didn't lay a more convincing claim to bat at 5, opening the door for Head to potentially reclaim his spot in the order for the tour of South Africa.
There's some things that I've got to continue to work on, just focusing on those little things about my decision-making or my movement patterns to be able to do it for long periods of time.
But Shane Warne instead wants Ben McDermott picked for the role after dominating for Hobart.
That's out of here! That's in Lake Burley Griffin.
It's probably the best I've batted in my career so far. It's certainly been the most consistent I've been through all formats. You like to think you can play at the top level. That's obviously really nice to hear those things about you and be thrown up there for selection. But yeah, like I've said a few times now, it's definitely just a bonus. You got to keep playing what's in front of you.
And for the trio of Wade, McDermott and Head, that's Big Bash cricket.
Runs a run, so having the chance to go out and playing that in-game moment and that competition is something that I'm really looking forward to tonight.
Obviously, there's no secret there. If you keep scoring runs, you're gonna have your name thrown up around for higher honours.
Meanwhile, the BBL has caught the attention of the country's highest office for dropping the reference to Australia Day for its 3 games on January 26.
Well, it's not cricket. That would be my reaction.
Tim Morgan for 10 News First.
Essendon skipper Dyson Heppell says he's no certainty to play round 1. The midfielder admits he suffered some dark days in his battle with injury, but is confident he has turned the corner.
Finally pain-free, Dyson Heppell is ready to take pre-season training to the next level.
Yeah, tracking really well. I've been super pleased with the progress of it.
Heppell is set to resume full training with the team next week, but after 2 lots of ankle surgery and just 3 games in 2020, he's in a race against time to play round 1.
I think it's just a week-by-week process because you've had aims over the last couple of years and that certainly gets thrown out the window pretty quick.
The midfielder has endured an injury-riddled run. A degenerative foot issue has also wreaked havoc with his career. At times, it almost became too much.
Look, there's certainly phases where it eats away at you and you have some pretty flat days. When it just sort of stays there and for a prolonged period of time, it certainly chews you up.
But the 28-year-old feels he's turned the corner. He's ready to lead the Bombers for a 5th season alongside a new-look team. Zach Merritt has been voted back into the leadership group after somewhat controversially missing out in 2020. Heppell says the midfielder will be a welcome addition.
He's a tremendous leader. Him not being in the leadership group, he handled that extremely well. Developed his leadership right throughout the year and he's come back in an awesome space.
Veteran defender Michael Hurley has retained his spot in the leadership group, while 22-year-old Andy McGrath has been voted in for the first time in his short but promising career. Natalie Yannidis for 10 News First.
Aston Villa's manager was seeing red this morning as Manchester City continued its climb up the table. Dean Smith was sent off after objecting to City's controversial opening goal.
After missing chance after chance and losing star playmaker Kevin De Bruyne to a hamstring.
And one mistake proves fatal for Villa.
VAR took a closer look as Rodri had come from an offside position to pinch the ball from Tyrone Mings. 2-0 win put City top for a couple of hours at least.
And Cavani makes the most of it for 1-1.
A resurgent Paul Pogba ensuring a 2-1 win for Manchester United away to Fulham.
And Pogba! What a stunning goal! Manchester United lead for the first time tonight.
The Spanish powerhouse didn't fare nearly as well in the Copa del Rey. Even with an extra man in extra time, Real Madrid was knocked out in the 3rd round by a 3rd division side. Alcoyano's 2-1 win among the biggest upsets in Spain's domestic history.
And there was a goal fest in the West last night as Perth Glory put 5 past Adelaide United.
Tireless, and Armiento from a tight angle has blazed it in. The 5th for Perth.
The Reds struck twice late to make the scoreline a little more respectable. The 5-3 loss, their first of the season. When outside, players like Alex de Minaur are trying to make the days in quarantine count. But while inside, competitors are instead finding creative ways to count the days. The trick shot is certainly more entertaining than staring at the clock and is also a worthy winner of our play of the day. Gosh, it must be pretty boring in there, Candice.
Oh, you'd do anything. Stay sane. Thank you, Stephen. Well, Kate will be back after the break with details of the heat wave that's about to sweep Victoria.
What was in Trump's presidential note left for Joe Biden? What's next?
Things are biting me. What's in there?
It's the Tunnel of Terror.
Oh my God!
7:30 tonight. Then Sunday finale week begins with an elimination every single night. Plus the most feared trial ever, the Viper Room.
10 Darwin, the Small Business Spotlight. A registered NDIS provider with capacity to provide counselling and community access in the Greater Darwin area. Wild Territory Images is a photographic business run by husband and wife team Etienne and Cara Littlefair. They love sharing their wildlife experiences through photography. New small local business, mobile paint and bumper repairs, high gloss polishing, alloy wheel repairs, bumper repairs, stone chip damage, scrapes and scratches, and colour coding. We offer performance upgrades and tuning for your car, truck, heavy vehicle, agricultural and civil plant, releasing the hidden potential, available when your foot requests it. 10 Darwin, the Small Business Spotlight, thanks to Mindle Beach Casino Resort.
Palm City Resort is a touch of paradise in the heart of Darwin City. Enjoy tropical accommodation in newly refurbished rooms, bungalows and villas, complete with a barbecue area and a refreshing pool to relax in. Palm City Resort, the Esplanade, Darwin.
At Telstra, our 7-day price match on a range of phones, using Telstra Plus points and trading in selected phones can help make technology more affordable.
At the Optical Superstore, you gotta be happy with that. Be happy.
Health Fund members with optical cover can be really happy with no out-of-pocket expenses on 2 pairs of single vision glasses. Choose thinner, lighter lenses or quick tint lenses which darken in the sun or polarised sunglasses. Or select 1 pair of precision multifocal glasses. That's right, all with no out-of-pocket expenses. Optical Superstore, Alice Springs, Casuarina Square, Darwin Mall, Gateway, Palmerston.
First Aid Darwin, $99 first aid course, done in 1 day. Regular courses available, highly experienced trainers, no waiting lists, no pre-study, no online assessment, certificates issued same day, CPR updates, asthma and anaphylaxis, first aid for childcare workers, all corporate industries, remote first aid training, low voltage rescue training for electricians. Book online now. Fast, fun, first aid done. First Aid Darwin.
Have you heard? It's the inside word. Sell your car, your home, advertise a job, or even pop the question to that special someone. All this and more can be heard on the inside word. Only $200 to air your message across 3 stations over 80 times over 8 days. Go to the 10 Darwin website and register your interest today. Be heard with the inside word. Proudly brought to you by 10 Darwin.
We're going into a complete unknown. No matter who you are, no matter your difference, Australia just got their arms wide open to give you a big giant hug. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. You just chase your dreams and you go for it.
We were amazing. The race starts Monday, Feb 1.
Let's go to Kate Freeburn now for the weather. And Kate, it's warming up.
Candice, today was only the third time that Melbourne's hit the 30s all year, and it was great weather to spend outside before it gets too hot early next week. On Monday, Melbourne's now forecast to hit the 40s, and parts of northern Victoria will get as high as 44, even 45 degrees. Tonight, our weather photo comes from Phillip Island. Deb Dow Bosco was at Crazy Birds Beach, a great name for a beach. If you'd like to share your photos, you can use our hashtag Kate's Weather Pics, or you can email us at the address that's on screen. In Melbourne, today's low was 13 degrees, which came at 7 this morning. It warmed up to 31 degrees by 3:30, and it's still warm out there this evening. Currently, it's sitting at 29 degrees. Southerly winds kept things a little cooler on the coast. Geelong reached 27. In the northern suburbs, it hit the 30s. Across Victoria, today was warm and sunny. Mildura and Swan Hill both hit 37 degrees, 36 degrees in Horsham, and 33 degrees down at Latrobe Valley. Around the country today, Brisbane reached 27. Sydney's been mostly sunny at 28. It's been even warmer in Canberra, up at 31. Adelaide reached 34, and it's been a sunny day in Perth too, reaching 35. On the satellite photo, Victoria's looking clear, which brought us the sunny conditions. Across the north of the country, there's thick cloud in both the east and the west, and that's generating storms. In far north Queensland, that's the remnants of ex-tropical cyclone Kimi, while in the west, a low just off Broome is threatening to develop into another tropical cyclone. Across the south, heat is building. This weekend will bring a heat wave to WA and South Australia and then into Victoria. Tomorrow, Brisbane's heading for 29, Sydney's warming up to 31, 32 degrees for Adelaide, with another hot day for Perth, a sunny 36. Around Victoria, if you're in the north, get set for a scorcher. 39 degrees tomorrow in Mildura and 38 degrees down to Shepparton and Wangaratta. 35 degrees for Bendigo, but southerlies will keep things cooler in the south. 28 degrees in Ballarat, 22 in Warrnambool. Around Melbourne, temperatures will stay in the 20s tomorrow, from 29 degrees at Yarra Glen down to 23 degrees on the Mornington Peninsula. On the bays, variable winds will turn westerly with the waves sitting at 1 metre. In Melbourne, after a low of 17 degrees overnight, tomorrow's looking mostly sunny and a little cooler than today. We're finishing off the week with a top of 26. Looking ahead to the weekend, there's some lovely weather on the way for Saturday, mostly sunny and 27 degrees. Sunday's forecast has again been downgraded, so we're now expecting 32, but Monday's been upgraded to 41 degrees, and that will be our hottest day since last January. But we'll get some much needed relief in the afternoon. A change moves in late in the day, and that'll cool things off and bring a shower and make the public holiday a lot cooler, 23 degrees with showers.
The developing stories we're following tonight. Joe Biden begins his presidency with a flurry of executive orders undoing Donald Trump's legacy. A knife-wielding carjacker shot dead by police after a chase through Gippsland. And the Premier warns anti-Australia Day protesters not to breach COVID rules. Joe Biden has taken the oath of office, swearing as president to restore the soul of America. It will be no easy task taking over at a time when, by the new leader's own account, the country is driven by divisions and discord. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson joins us live now. Eamon, Joe Biden is promising to be a president for all Americans, regardless of who they voted for.
Yes, Candice, and he is wasting no time getting down to work. So in just a few hours, President Joe Biden will begin his first full day in the White House. He will attend a virtual prayer service and then receive his first briefing, his first presidential briefing in the Oval Office before holding a press conference in the afternoon. Now, over the next 10 days, he has a raft of executive orders to sign, and each day will be a different theme. So tomorrow it will be COVID, Friday the economy. Next week you can see themes like buying America, climate change, and restoring the United States' position in the world. So lots of work planned. He's running full steam ahead to steer this country in a new direction. Even as a young boy with a stutter, Joseph R. Biden dreamed of becoming president, and today, at 78 years old, he was sworn in as America's 46th Commander-in-Chief.
Will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
But almost nothing was normal about his inauguration. In the midst of a pandemic, crowds were replaced by flags. The giant fence around the Capitol was a symbol of the former president's divisive legacy, which the new president wasted no time tearing down.
We've learned again that democracy is precious. Democracy is fragile. And at this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed.
It was a speech with a singular purpose: to unify a divided nation.
We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, conservative versus liberal.
And for the 400,000 Americans who've died from coronavirus,
let's say a silent prayer for those who've lost their lives and those left behind, and for our country. Amen.
His deputy walked into the history books, Kamala Harris becoming the first woman, African American and Asian American, sworn in as vice president.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Almost every living president watched on. Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Jimmy Carter couldn't make it, Donald Trump simply wouldn't. Earlier, America's 45th president delivered a final defense of his legacy in front of a small crowd of supporters.
I can only say this, we have worked hard. We've left it all, as the athletes would say, we've left it all in the field. The things that we've done have been just incredible.
As the sun set on 4 years of deep divisions, America now has a new president who seeks to unite, heal, tell the truth and inspire. And President Joe Biden wasted no time getting straight down to work. As soon as Joe Biden entered the White House, the new president set about undoing Trump's legacy. Wearing a mask in the Oval Office, he signed 17 executive orders, asking Americans to wear a mask for 100 days, requiring masks in federal buildings, rejoining the Paris Climate Accord, and stopping construction of the Mexico Wall. He swore in staff virtually.
So help me God.
And left no question about how they must behave.
If you're ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot.
A historic day ending with a bang, light drowning out darkness, and as Biden's favourite poem goes, hope and history rhyming once again. Eamon Ashton-Atkinson for 10 News First, Washington.
An armed man has been shot dead after an earlier carjacking led to a police chase through West Gippsland. Witnesses say officers pleaded with the man to surrender after the pursuit came to a crashing halt in Druin.
A trail of destruction sparked by a carjacking and ending with police opening fire on the driver.
He is a local from the Latrobe Valley, he's known to police.
It could have been avoided after the stolen Audi crashed, but instead a tense confrontation unfolded with 4 officers.
Just kept telling him to drop the weapon and he just kept going at him.
Witnesses describe hearing 2 shots before the man in his 30s fell to the ground.
Unfortunately, the efforts of the police and the ambulance were unsuccessful and the male is deceased.
They just gave him every opportunity. He just didn't listen.
The drama began more than an hour earlier. Lockie Faust saw the stolen car race through a closed road at Terrelgan at 8:15 a.m.
Where it was started to be closed off, he was probably doing 80 k's. By the end of it, he was probably doing 120.
Police were first called here to Merbau North, around 60 kilometres southeast of the crash scene. A man was threatened at knife point, his Audi carjacked.
To be confronted by an offender armed with a knife and have your car taken is really terrifying.
The 4 officers involved were shaken but uninjured. The coroner is now investigating. Simon Love for 10 News First.
Australia Day activists have been urged not to gather en masse this Tuesday, but already there are concerns the streets around Parliament House could be filled with thousands of protesters. Jade Kotick joins us live now, and Jade, the Premier has a clear message for anyone planning to attend.
Candice, Daniel Andrews has warned those planning to protest on January 26 on the steps of Parliament House to be COVID safe and not put the public at risk by breaching public health orders. Under the current guidelines or the restrictions, mass gatherings outdoors are limited to 100 people and social distancing rules must be adhered to. Now, this protest, the Invasion Day protest, has been organised by the Warriors of the Aboriginal Resistance. This is the same group responsible for the Black Lives Matter protest in the height of the pandemic back in June. Online on Facebook, more than 4,500 people have registered their interest, and this was the response by the Premier.
This is not a commentary on what people might be protesting about, but it's no time to be protesting. It just isn't. We've built something precious and unique. Victorians have, through their sacrifice and their commitment and their compassion for each other. And we have to say...
The organisers have advised those wanting to attend to wear face masks and bring hand sanitiser. Victoria Police is aware of the rally and will be closely monitoring the crowds. Candice?
OK, thank you, Jade. A paraglider has escaped serious injury after he crashed into the side of a cliff above the Great Ocean Road. The man was flying at Fairhaven with friends when he lost control in front of stunned holidaymakers. Here's Jade Kotick again.
The group of paragliders launched from Spion Cop at Fairhaven late yesterday when one of the members crashed into a tree on the side of a cliff. The 58-year-old pilot from the Dinosaurs Hang Gliding and Paragliding Club was performing low-level manoeuvres when a wing clipped a branch before 7 p.m. He fell some 10 metres to the ground on the side of a cliff in front of holidaymakers who were watching the group. Emergency crews and the air ambulance were called, with a paramedic being winched down to assist him.
4 firefighters went down, met AV down at the patient and then hauled him out.
He just sort of just came really close and like his side of the wing just hit one of the bushes.
Well, they were just like circling sort of above, like making sure they're okay. Like one of the paragliders was the one like making sure we were getting him to talk.
The pilot somehow escaped serious injury. He was taken to Geelong University Hospital with a bruised knee, ankle and neck pain.
Now Stephen's back with a look at tonight's sport.
Thank you, Candice. The Bombers skipper opens up about his battle with injury. We're live to the tribunal as the Crows challenge an